In our earlier lectures, we have seen what are data types and variables theoretically. Now, let's try to understand this in Jupyter Notebook. Okay, let me just open the Jupyter Notebook first. Okay, so let me declare a variable called x and I'll just put the number as 10. Now, whenever I keep this way, you know x is a variable and 10 is a number, right? 10 is stored in a variable called x. Now if I wanted to execute this, I can use the print function and I can just place x inside the closed brackets, which will give a 10. Or simply in Jupyter Notebook I can just put x and I can enter it. It just gives the value 10 because 10 is stored in the value variable called x. 10 is stored in the variable called x. Now if I wanted to know the type of data which is stored in x, simply I can use the type function and I can just put x in the enclosed brackets and that will give the type of data which is called integer. Now going further, we can also try this for different data types. Now earlier we discussed that uh, floating point has a decimal point. Let us just give a variable y. Now we give a floating number as 10.25, let us say. Now if I wanted to check the data type of y, I can just use simply again the type function, then it will just give a float. Now apart from these two, we also have other data types, which is called a boolean function, right? This we discussed in our earlier lecture. Now how do we check the booleans? Because booleans will return either true or false, right? Now I use a variable called number and I just give, let me just say 10 is greater than 9. I just wanted to check whether it is true or false. Then what I can do, I can use the print function and I can just type the variable, then it just returns true because 10 is greater than 9, right? So it is true. Suppose if I write, the number is, suppose 10 is less than 9, and if I use a print function and I just type num, then it just returns the value false because boolean is a function which will return either false or true. All right, now if I wanted to check what kind of data is stored in the variable num, then again I can use the type function and I can just put number inside, num inside. So it's just saying that it is a boolean data type, right? Now do we have any other data types apart from this? Yes, we do also have other data types like a complex. How we can judge whether it is a complex or not? Let me just take a variable called x, and if I wanted to, complex numbers have something like, imaginary parts, right? If I wanted to use 25j, now what this will give, if I type z, it just gives 25j, right? Now if I wanted to check the data type of z, then I can just simply enter value z here, then it just gives a complex data type. That means it will recognize the type of z which is complex. You can also type different things, like you can also just use the same variable for different, let us say real value is 2 and imaginary value is something like 27j, and this will also give the type of z, then this will also give a complex because it is a complex number. Well, now going further, we also have strings that we have discussed, right? In general we have discussed like what are strings. Like strings are the group of characters which will be enclosed in a single quote or double quotes. uh, it can also be stored in a variable. Let me just type randomly. I will just take a value, take a letter G, and I will store my my name is Dilip. Let me just type here, my name is Dilip. Now this is enclosed in, this is what the syntax it goes. It should be enclosed in double quotes. You can see it here right on the screen, or it can also be given in a single quotes. Now if I want to get the output of G, then I can use the print function and just enter it. It just simply gives my name is Dilip. And again, I can also use it in a single quotes again. Let me just here um, take a variable called h, and let me just put a single quote here, and my surname is Chide. So now again, if I wanted to, you can if I wanted to get the output of h, then I can just use the print function and I can type here h, which will give as my surname is Chire, right? This is how the string works. And sometimes it is a combination of double strings and a single string. Like, we can use different permutations and combinations here, because strings, like, if I wanted to give a different variable here, it can be a combination of single and double quotes. Suppose there are so many apples. Let me just put here, there are so many apples. If I wanted to give here, if I wanted to give here a single quote, suppose this will work actually. You can just get the string like this. You can just put a print and you can just execute here. You will get a simple clear output. There are so many apples. But what if in case if you put here with a single quote, then what is going to happen? Then it gives an invalid syntax, because this Python is designed in such a way that whenever you put in a single quotes, and Python will get confused, because it doesn't know uh, where these characters are getting ended, because it generally takes inside the characters. So now if I just put here, like with a single quote, it's okay, but you cannot just put here with the same single quote for multiple characters. So it is difficult to Python will you know difficult to find the string, because this is what it is going to happen when you're doing it, right? So this is regarding strings. Let me just take the other variable. Let me just put fruit is equal to orange. So now, uh, strings can be executed with respect to the indexes. Like, the data can be extracted. I just give a simple variable called fruit here, and I just wanted to store a letter called orange. Okay, now there is an important thing here. These strings can be extracted by using indexes. Let me just type here fruit of 1, and it is just extracted r from the string. That means o is represented at 0 index, r is represented at 1, a is at 2, n is at 3, g is at 4, and e is at 5. If I wanted to extract the data of 5 of e, I can just directly enter it 5. And there is also the other way. If I wanted to extract the letters from the last, I can use just simple -1, which we can extract directly without counting anything, which will be very easy for us, right? And we can also use slicing operation with this, and we can just looking further, because for this, to have a basic idea on uh, data types, this is quite good enough. Well, in our next lecture we will see many more things, and thank you.